Hello, I'm Michael Lee Parker, and we are here for another YouTube session. And I want you to really think deeply about how serious are you about being successful as an entrepreneur, about really making that money that you want to make, about really creating that dream that you've always had. How much does it really mean to you? How dedicated are you to your own passion, your own vision, the things that you want to accomplish? Are you serious yet really about that? Now, we're going to talk about what that really means and why so many people actually think that they're serious about things, but they actually aren't. And so this is a very, very critical element to why so many entrepreneurs never really get to what they actually want to achieve, and why so many people who want to be entrepreneurs never really succeed at becoming an entrepreneur, even starting out as an entrepreneur, and they never see that thing that they thought about, that idea they had late at night, that's something that hit them in the car, that's something that, really began to cause their heart to beat when they were considering a particular way that they could achieve something, and it just never got off the ground. And then those who finally did take a step never took it to the next step, never got it to the next level. Those are at a certain amount of money per year. Maybe they got to $50,000 a year, and they never got it to $100,000 a year. They wanted to build, a $500,000 company. They wanted to build $1 million company. If you have $1 million company, you want to build a $2 million company. But to always be thinking about how to do that next thing. And it only happens when we start to get serious. Now, I want you to really think deeply about something. Take something as simple as eating right? Eating something you know that you really should eat better, right? Or something you should stop eating that's not good for you, right? We hear these things all the time. We know what's good. We know what we shouldn't do and should do many times. And a lot of times we won't do that. But isn't it interesting? Once you actually have that one doctor's appointment that literally changes your life, and you find out if you don't change, if you don't really get serious, your life could be at stake. And as soon as you get that information, it's interesting how we can do the thing we thought we couldn't do. So the only difference between our ability to do that and not do it was the level of seriousness that we had. And I want you to really get that. The level of seriousness that we had is the only thing in between my ability to make that behavior change that I thought I couldn't make. There's no reason I couldn't still eat the old way or do the old thing or still do what I always did. The only thing that changed was it got serious. So I submit to you that there are too many of us that still have not got serious with ourselves because we do not see our success as a life and death situation. We do not see the achievement of that goal as an extreme detriment to our life if it's not reached. It's not until we begin to position the thing that we want to do, position the thing we want to achieve as something so serious that we're willing to really act every single second of the day like it matters. Now, I want you to really consider that, because this is something oftentimes is hard for us to do. And we think that we're serious about things, right? When we go around and we say, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to accomplish, I'm working on this, I'm working on that. A month goes by, a year goes by, 2 years go by, and we wonder, why haven't I still gotten it done? I say I'm going to do this, I say I'm going to do that. Hey, you have to admit sometime that you're a good talker, right? Sometimes I've been guilty of that, being a good talker. Like I'm talking about it, I'm saying it, right? When someone asks me, I have the answer of what I'm gonna do, right? What's gonna happen, right? But we're not really serious. So the first, goal or step toward becoming serious is to admit that you're not serious. And so this is a very hard thing to admit because it doesn't sound good, right? I plan to improve my health, but I'm not serious right now, right? I really plan to, I'm going to really work on working out more, but if I'm not serious though, right? Like that don't sound good, right? You don't really want to say that, but that's really what's real, because when we're serious, we do it. People will say, well, I'm really going to change this, thing about me, but you're not serious. That's really the bottom line. There's no way to fancy it up. You're not serious. I'm going to start, one day I'm going to start a business and I'm really going to do that. You're not serious though. You're not really serious. So I'm going to learn this thing, right? I'm going to increase my education. I'm going to finish this program. You're not serious though. So we're talking about what it means. And let me go to my whiteboard for a minute. There's a few things I want you to understand, critical differences here. So there's a difference between being serious and being silly, right? Now, what do I mean by silly? I'm playing. I'm not really gonna do the things required to get that thing done. Now, silly might seem like a hard word, but we got to really be real about this, because there's times I've had to admit that I was being silly and not being serious. And what does that mean? That it is silly to think that I'm going to keep not putting the effort in, not putting the time in, doing nothing toward that goal, and still saying that this is what I'm going to do, that this is what I'm going to achieve, that this is what's going to actually cause me to get where I need to go. It is silly to think that I can put less energy and effort in to the thing that is required to get something done, while someone else is putting the effort in who is serious, and think I'm going to compete with them. That is silly for me to think that, but yet this is what we do. So when we talk about that seriousness, we have to really make a decision, right? In our mind, we have to stop acting like we're serious when we're being silly, so that we can stop being silly and get serious. So nothing changes until you do. Nothing actually happens until you decide it's gonna happen. It's something interesting that happens when you actually do nothing. When you do nothing, it's something absolutely amazing that takes place. Nothing, right? So it's an interesting dynamic. So I want you to consider that, right? So serious versus silly. Here's some other words to keep in mind. Let's say intentional versus optional. Intentional versus optional. See, some people have an intention. In other words, I'm intentional about how I'm going to approach my next step. I'm intentional what I'm going to do with my time. I'm intentional of the things that I need to do to grow, that I'm going to do those things so I can get to that place that I need to get. But when you see it as optional, there's some things you just will never accomplish because it really is optional. Now, I want to tell you something that really is challenging for me when I deal with entrepreneurs. Now, because I've been an entrepreneur for over 2 decades now, I've started a lot of companies, and I was counting up. I've really, started and managed up to, I guess, over 7 multi-million-dollar companies where you're making over $1 million. That's a big thing. Like, some people want to do that once. I was just doing a quick thing. I might have more, but I was thinking of at least 7 companies that brought in over millions of dollars. And when you think about that, and you think about the effort and the energy that goes into that, something that really is really key, especially for entrepreneurs. Sometimes I see entrepreneurs that are doing entrepreneurship as a side hustle, right? They got their day job and they're doing something on the side. They got this thing over here, and then they get to entrepreneurship over here that they're kind of tinkering with, right? And they say, I started a business, and they get a logo, and they get a brand, and they get that. Or they've got a spouse that has a good job, right? And they then can go and, kind of play around with entrepreneurship. Let me tell you something. Entrepreneurship gets really different when it's the only thing you have to survive. When you really will not eat if you don't make that sale. You'll see a real difference when someone is trying to think about that product, about launching, about getting that thing done, about actually getting out there and asking someone and giving them an offer and trying to sell what you have, being intentional about your time and your effort, you will get up in the morning. You will get there. You will send that email. You will finish that product design. You will get to the market. You will be knocking on doors trying to get someone to understand your dream and your vision because you want to eat, because you want to live. But it's not until you see it that serious, you'll keep tinkering around with this side hustle mentality, this kind of thing that I'm going to do, keep playing around with this or that, because you know in your own heart, you're not serious. See, when you really get to the point that you're serious, when you don't have anything to fall back on, that's sometime. Now, it's not that you can't be serious and have those things too. I'm just telling you what I've seen. When people have a crutch, they tend to use it. When people have a crutch within their mind, they tend to lean on it. It's not until you say, no, I'm not going to act like that, things will be okay if I don't do what I'm supposed to do. I'm not going to act like everything is good when I know there's things that I need to follow up on, right? So when you know that you're, and I've been there many times where, I went through the meltdown in real estate, went through a lot of economic challenges. I've had disastrous situations in business as an entrepreneur where, sometimes you feel like you lost everything. You have to start over. And it's totally different when your back's against the wall and you're thinking about how am I going to make ends meet, right? You act different. You operate different. It's like that doctor's visit. And there's some of you that are not serious because there's something else you're leaning on that is making you feel like it's okay to not be serious. And I just want to, push you to think different about that. That brings me to another thing. Let me get to, I'm still dealing with some things here. Here's another key thing. Go back to my whiteboard here. Entertainment versus empowerment. This is a big one. Did you know we like being entertained more than we do being empowered? Being empowered means that I'm putting things in me that generate power that I can use to go create success and wealth and the things that I want. That is self-empowerment. That is what, we talk a lot about here, and you are a CEO, that you have to put something on the inside. You got to become that thing that is able to provide that product or service because you're changing, you're growing, you're becoming that thing, right? So when you are that thing, you don't have to convince someone to pay you to give you who you are, because you are that. Right? I really know my stuff. I really put the work in. So when I give you this service, when I provide to you this product, it's not a guess. It's really real, right? I've become that thing. I put the work in. But when you spend too much time being entertained, and I say this harshly, but in love, but there are too many people that's become a genius in entertainment and an idiot in empowerment, right? In other words, I'm not learning anything about building myself up, investing in myself, investing in my knowledge, investing in my learning. I still feel that I have time to focus on entertainment this much, right? This many movies, this many TVs, this many social media, all of the time that I'm spending being entertained. I'm a genius in entertainment. I'm not conscious of what is being put into my mind. How much of my time is putting entertainment in my mind versus empowerment in my mind? How much of my time is being spent allowing something to come into my mind that makes me better, stronger, faster, able to do things that will lead to real wealth? How much of my time is spent on things that add absolutely no value? Isn't it amazing? We get so attached to things in entertainment, we almost think that it's benefiting our life, right? You want to know what this actor is doing and where this actor is going, and this actor just got a new boyfriend. So what? What is that going to do to your life? What is that going to do to make you better? You can quote every stat of that basketball player, that football player, that singer who you really love, that individual who can act so well, that person you follow all the time on social media to see what hairstyle they have. What did that add to you? It bothers me sometimes. I see on the news and I'll see they'll go to, the Warriors game or to a football game, a baseball game, and say, what do you think? They say, well, I think we're going to win it this year. We're? You really? You think it's a we're? You're making some money? No, you're spending money. People say, we got a good chance this year, like they own the team. People will talk about, I see people spend their whole time online debating over some feud between two singers or some drama between two influencers. Who cares if it's not helping you grow? How much time do people spend trying to watch someone else's success, right? I would put this much time in to celebrate someone else's success and not put any time into my own success. You're not serious. I guess I'm a little stirred up here today, but that's what this whole thing is about. I'm talking about you're not serious yet. How much, where's your time going? Where's your energy going, right? How much you need to have an entertainment meter. How much time am I spending being entertained versus learning something that's advancing me? You might say, well, one day I'm gonna learn more about taxes because taxes is killing me, but you're not serious. One day I'm gonna really start focusing on doing the things I need to do so I can really make sure this or that. When it's different when you get serious. It's that doctor's appointment moment, right? About our business. It's that doctor's appointment moment about our health, about our fitness. It's that doctor's appointment moment where you really start thinking about how to act, how to behave, how to really go after those things that matter because you really have become serious. Now, here's another one. Let's go back to my whiteboard here for a minute. Distraction versus attraction. Now, please, when I say attraction, do not mistake me for one of those, the secret law of attraction folks, because I'm not one of them. I don't believe in that. I don't believe you can sit and think, I'm going to make money, and the universe is going to come bring it to you in a fruit basket. I don't believe that. So if you believe that, it don't mean to offend you, but I don't believe that. I believe that you have to become the thing that attracts you will attract opportunities when you become the person deserving of those opportunities. So we have to spend less time being distracted. There's a big thing that governments use all the time, right? And this happens in America, it happens in Russia, it happens all over whenever you see something big happens, always make sure you look around and watch your back because a lot of times when some big thing happens, if you do your history, if you study history, you'll find out whenever there was like a major thing that got everyone's attention, there was something going on behind the scenes. It was a little, war or a negotiation or a deal or someone got freed that wasn't supposed to get freed. There'd be something going on because everyone knows distraction is the key. What is it that causes so many people to not change, to stay in a rut, to keep being who they always have been? Why? They're distracted. All you got to do is be distracted. So think about it. Sometimes the difference between a life and death situation like driving in your car, trying to look at that text message, and we all are a little guilty sometimes. Distracted driving is the most dangerous thing that you could ever do because you're not focused on what you are, the danger that you are potentially in. But we take that risk, right, sometimes. But see, distraction is lethal. So you have to evaluate in your life, what is a distraction to you? It is distracting you from your purpose. It's distracting you from your goal. You need to be honest that this is just a distraction, right? I'm giving all this mental attention and worry and thoughts to this, and it's just a distraction. Instead of investing in things that make me better, that allow me to attract new opportunities. When I went and got my master's degree, I wanted to embody the things that I was learning to attract new opportunities. When I began to invest in things that I needed to learn, my time, my energy, my money, I still pay for coaching. I pay for services and tools that help my businesses. I invest in things that make me better. Absolutely. Why? I'm going to attract more opportunities. The more that I know, the more that I understand. So people want attraction to be like the secret, right? Doesn't that sound good? Think the thoughts and the universe will bring it to you. Yeah, well, I got news for you. I'm going to tell you a secret about the secret. That's not true. You have to become that thing. You have to put the work in. You have to become that tree that grew up where people see the fruit and then they want to come and pick it off your tree. So this is why so many people will not achieve those things. They've not got serious enough to become the tree with the fruit on it. They still are waiting for someone to come and patronize and support them just because it's their dream, right? Just because it's what they've always wanted to do, just because they said that that's what they're going to do, but they've not got serious enough about actually achieving that. So I hope you all are really getting this. Now, I want to remind you, I'm not done here yet, but make sure if you like the content here at YouR Show and the content from Michael Lee Parker, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, and listen. I challenge you right now as I do in all my videos here to share this out. Somebody needs to hear this. Somebody that you know needs to hear this, and they need to get more serious about their intention to be successful. And I challenge you to share this and say, are you really serious about your success? If so, listen to this, right? And let people know what we're talking about right now. There are people that you care about that need to hear this, right? This is important. This is why so many people are stuck. Let me show you an equation. So let's go back to my whiteboard here for a minute. There's what I'm doing now plus waiting to get serious equals stuck. So this is some math I want you to learn today, right? What I'm doing right now, whatever that is, plus waiting to get serious. In that waiting to get serious could be all kind of little stuff we're doing, but we're not serious yet. It equals stuck. It's a vicious cycle of being stuck. You cannot change this equation. This equation is true. Now, when you change this and say, instead of waiting to get serious, right, I'm going to have an urgency to achieve, to learn, to grow, right? So instead of stuck now, I am getting new opportunities, right? And those new opportunities lead to wealth, lead to money, lead to so many different things. And, you know, a lot of us, we're not also able to get serious because of fear. So fear keeps us from getting serious, because if we get serious, we know there's a line drawn in the sand once you get serious. Once you get serious, now there feels like there's a win or lose. As long as I'm not serious, I could always say I wasn't serious yet, right? You know, this is sometime I'll see people, being a basketball player, and I'll see people, coming up, I was, I feel like a good athlete, good basketball player, and I love playing one-on-one. Like, I go to any gym, play anybody one-on-one. Like that was my thing, and I'm not, I love the team game and to win. I had a lot of successful teams, but one-on-one, it's all on me, and I could use my talents to try to beat this opponent, right? And I would study people when you're playing one-on-one, and I would see their weaknesses and understand what could I do. What was my advantage against that person? What were their advantages against me? And study what to do to beat them. And when I would see other people, when we're kind of in this mode playing one-on-one, I see other people play one-on-one, I would already see that I had that individual beat because they were not mentally strong enough in their mind. They already were not serious. They were already trying to make an excuse, right, for why they might lose. I already knew I had them, right? When they about to get on the game, they're already saying, well, I had a long day today, or like, I lifted weights yesterday, so maybe I already knew. You're not serious. You already have opened the door in your mind for failure, right? I see other two people about to play, and one person is not playing defense. They're kind of, letting the person shoot. And the reason they're doing that, they really do want to win. But the reason they're doing that is if they lose, they can say, I wasn't really playing. I wasn't trying. It saves face with everyone there. If I'm playing one-on-one, I'm all in, right? If I'm really seriously playing someone one-on-one that I'm, respecting, I'm having a one-on-one game, you're going to see me, I'm playing, like if I'm in a real game. But I've seen people with all the marbles on the line do this as a safety valve, right? Just in case if they lose, they can say I wasn't serious. Now, it's okay to give your best and to lose, but you gave your best and you were serious. But did you know we do this in our life? We do this in our career. We do this as entrepreneurs. We do things with a safety valve. We don't go all in. We're not serious, right? And a lot of times that fear, it actually impacts our finances, right? That fear impacts our finances. We start to think the wrong way about money. Let me show you this. Let me go back to my whiteboard here for a minute. So you got two types of people, a lot of times depending on how you came up. So you got the person who has the mindset of, I don't want to lose money. Okay? Then you got another mindset of, I don't want to miss an opportunity to make money. These are two very, very different perspectives in life, right? One of these is, more from a place of concern and negativity. One is more from a place of optimism and hope and opportunity. Now, the reason this is so important, right? There's a line between these two, is people don't get serious and they're riddled with fear. And so a lot of times when there's a real opportunity in front of them, if they would take it seriously, they always are thinking about not losing money. And I've been affected by this. I came up through a lot of struggle. There's a lot of things I've, suffered and went through. Some of you know my story who follow me and have known me for some time. And it impacts how you think. When there's something in front of you, an opportunity, you always think first, right? You get those thoughts like, what's the catch, right? What's the catch? Probably won't work, right? Anytime something comes up, you start to think this way, right? Not that you should just be, go into something without thinking. But what I'm saying is you can have this type of thinking. You always think about what you're going to lose. You never think about the opportunity to make money as something you would gain by trying, by actually applying yourself, taking something seriously, right? And, what will I gain? Right? How will I grow? Right? And I love that thinking, as the saying goes, it's never failure. Either something worked or it worked on you, right? So it still is growth. And some people never get serious and take that step because they're always in this stuck position of what they're going to lose, right? I see this all the time where, that's why we have to think differently about getting in momentum and actually starting to create what we want for our life as entrepreneurs, as leaders, as professionals. We have to do that because time is not our friend, right? And it's an important thing that I want you to get is that really, when you think about it, time, we know, is much greater than money, right? And you've heard me say this, if I say I'm going to give you $1 million, but say you have to die tomorrow, you wouldn't take it. If you knew you could spend $1 million, your last $1 million, on something that could deliver you from an evil disease, it was 100% curable if you spent the money and it's not covered by insurance, you would spend the money because you know in your heart, by nature, that time is more valuable than money. But the other thing I want you to understand is that money and wealth really is truly measured in speed and time as well. So wealth is not measured in dollars, it's measured in time. And let me explain to you what I mean. So let's look for a minute. Let's take $1 million, right? So $1 million is, that's, some of you would say that's a good amount of money. If you had $1 million, you would probably say, you're in a pretty good situation. And if someone says $1 million, is that person rich or wealthy? You'd have to really, most people say, man, that's pretty good money. I would say they're, rich, at least rich. And then, some would say wealthy. But if I told you that this $1 million came from someone making $20,000 a year, working 50 years, right? That changes everything, doesn't it? Was this person wealthy, right? Is this person wealthy? I would say no, right? Why? Because of the time it took to make that money. So I want you to see the relationship between time and money versus if someone is making $1 million per year, right? That is a significant difference. Same $1 million, but what changed? The time, right? So this is why we have to be serious. This is why we don't have time to wait. This is why we can't say maybe later, maybe, next time. You know what is amazing to me? Now, I'm an entrepreneur. I've built several multi-million-dollar companies. I've seen the things that it takes. And, you work with individuals. Like if I'm doing something, I have an event I do called Run My Business Challenge. And, in these events, I'm literally giving away the wisdom and knowledge that I've gained over 2 decades. And if I have the wisdom and knowledge, go back here to my whiteboard. If I have the wisdom and knowledge to build $1 million business, let's say, and I can give you that information and give you access to information and wisdom that can help you know what it takes to build that type of empire or company, and you are currently at $100,000, right? And let's say, now this isn't the cost, but let's just say it was $2,000 to come to an event that I was going to have. Is the cost really $2,000? If I had an event for $2,000 and the difference between where you are now and what you could learn is $900,000 in difference, right? If you can collapse time and learn how to make that money faster. But see, people who think, I'm using this as an example, but people who think in the mindset of what I will lose, all they see is the $2,000, right? I remember the first time, I had to spend a significant amount of money on a particular education or program, or when I got, my master's degree and I was, working at the same time and had to pay for certain things. When I invested in certain programs and coaching, things that cost 10s, 20s, 40s, 50s, thousands, spend over hundreds of thousands of dollars on things that make me better. Why? I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with that, what I'm going to create with that, and taking it seriously. But most people, they only see what they might lose. They don't think about what is the opportunity that's going to come from the knowledge and wisdom that I create. And if I'm serious, and listen, if you live a life that's not serious, you're afraid to invest in something because you know yourself, you're not serious with what you already got. So it's not that you're even afraid or don't value that thing that's in front of you that's an opportunity. You're afraid of you. You're afraid of your own commitment. You're afraid of your own procrastination. So you can see the benefit of getting serious and learning how to be serious about the things that you should be serious about is when an opportunity comes in front of you, you won't be afraid to take that opportunity because you know when you turn the serious switch on, you mean it and you will do it. So you say, if this is real and this opportunity is in front of me, I know I'll make everything out of this that I should because that's what I do, right? I do that. And this is why we want to become that person that knows how to be serious and intentional about the things that will create our wealth and our wellness. And so I hope that you really see this and have got a lot out of this, because I want all of you that hear this to make a commitment to yourself, not to me. I'm going to be okay either way, right? I'm just telling you about things that I've learned. I'm going to be fine. Make a commitment to yourself that there are some things I'm going to stop acting like I don't need to get serious about. Make a commitment to yourself. Where in my life do I need to get more serious? Whether it's something I need to learn, something I need to change, something I need to do so that I can become the individual that attracts the opportunities that I deserve. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, remember, you need to subscribe, comment, and share. I challenge you to come back to this post. We are live right now, but come back to this post. Tell me what you got out of this. And, hey, if you're serious, go on record. Say that you're going to get more serious and what you got out of this, because that's the beginning. Hearing yourself make that commitment means everything. And so as always, I encourage you to continue to be the CEO of your life, because before you can run the business of professionalism, run the business of entrepreneurship, run the business of wealth and success and all the things you want out of life, you have to run the business of you. And that is why we're here at You Are CEO. Until next time, I'm Michael E. Parker, and make sure you leave here with a mindset that is serious. I'll see you soon.